Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is some dude back again with Lego Harry Potter free play. Um, Hopefully, this will be the last session. We're gonna crank out this last three levels, finish this series, and just wrap it up. Been at it a while, and it's time for it to end. I guess it's kind of interesting, but um, looks like I needed the characters and the crests. I found Student in Peril, which is good because those are difficult, and I'm hoping to get through these kind of quick. But I also want to be really thorough because I don't want to end the series on a bad note and miss something. I hate when I do that. It's really frustrating. Turn on my extras here. All right. And there was one thing I kind of wanted to talk about in the background as I play through this, and it's what's been happening this entire week. It's the Kony 2012 video, and I just wanted to offer my views on the subject. And if you don't know about this, I don't know where you've been. It's a video done by Invisible Children, which is a charitable group that focuses on Kony. His name is Joseph Kony, Kony, and he's a Ugandan warlord that is pretty much a war criminal. Like, everything he does is pretty terrible. He kidnaps children, puts them in his army, forces them to kill their own parents, gets them addicted to drugs. Those are the boys. The girls he kidnaps as well, forces them to be sex slaves, like cuts off their noses and all this stuff. It's pretty much everything terrible that you can imagine. And this video came out a few days ago called Kony 2012, produced by this Invisible Children charitable group, and it was pretty much a call to action for the American people to inform them, and to pretty much what he wanted to do is bring as much attention to this one man as possible to make it impossible for our government to ignore it, impossible for anyone in the world to ignore the problem anymore, and focus the resources. What is going on with this stupid wall thing? Hold on. Okay, there we go. He wants to, he wants money through selling posters and a thing called an action kit. But mostly what he was trying to get was just recognition to the problem, and to bring attention to this man who's doing terrible, terrible things. And I watched it on the first day, and I was pretty inspired, like, that everything was... that I always seem to get sucked into stuff like that, like calls to action like that, and... Where's my dark magic character? Wormtail? Yeah. Because at the end on 420, he's also calling for like this subversive street movement that would plaster this pictures all over the city, wherever city you happen to be in. And, it doesn't take much for me to get behind something like that, because I love subculture movements like that, and street art and everything. So I got behind that pretty quick, but I didn't want to like get fully behind it, because I'm always hesitant when there's a topic like that just so many people seem to be rallying behind. I really focus to not get swept up in it, because while I was familiar with the Invisible Children group from college, they came to my college, really I still didn't know what they were doing. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just sending money somewhere and they were going to jack me or whatever. So I kind of just laid low for a few days and didn't really donate anything, and I just wanted to see what the public reaction was going to be a few days later, once like main news agencies and media outlets got a hold of it, rather than YouTube. Because YouTube, you know, it wouldn't be hard for someone to put a video like that up on YouTube and then just pocket everybody's money. And while that's a worst case scenario, and I didn't think that that was what was happening, it's always a possibility. And so then a few days later, people started coming out with these statistics saying that only like 30% of all the donations actually get to Africa. And that seemed to be the main argument against this organization. But to me, that, you know, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal for me. I know that this organization has running costs. I know that they're not just operating on, you know, hopes and dreams. Like, I don't really have a problem with that 60% going to like the people that work for them, salaries, for promotional efforts, for travel fees, all that stuff. I mean, it's not cheap to go to Africa 10 times a year or whatever they go to. And so that didn't really bother me, and that seemed to be the only outcry for it. And then just recently, the leader of the Invisible Children, because of the reception, it was like 40 million views in like 3 days or something. They got way more donations than they had intended, and they have come out and said that, like, please stop donating, because we have enough money. All he wants at this point is to just keep passing the word around to your friends, to your family, anyone that'll listen, because that's what the main message was for this video, is to just make Joseph Kony, make it impossible for him to hide, make him so recognizable that anyone in the world could identify him, and our government would take notice. And, you know, that kind of solidified it for me. Like, I mean, when the dude comes out and says he doesn't want money, he just wants people to be involved still, that kind of erases any doubts that I had. I mean, between the two things, only 30% of the money was going, and all that stuff. Like, I didn't have a problem with that anyway. With running costs, you know, I don't think that's uncommon. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to cut it right here. Go back and get the things that are behind that dinosaur skeleton. Alright, fast forward. Okay, I'm back in this room here, and blow this up again. The reason I had to go back is because this stuff back here, I didn't get back in there. Oh wait. This is the way to get there, right? Yep, there it is. Sweet. Okay. Well, anyway, like I was saying, is just with the... I'm glad that the guy came out and said that they were good on money and that they just want people to keep spreading the word, just because I'm always hesitant to watch Americans especially just passionately take up an issue that is like not in our country, because personally I think America is just completely effed, man. Like, the things that happen on a day-to-day basis here are so disgusting that a lot of the times I tend to think that we don't need to be focusing our efforts on these international incidents. Like, and don't interpret that as saying that I don't think Joseph Kony should be arrested and stuff. Clearly he should. He's a monster of a human being. The point I am making is that the United States has a lot of problems, and Americans don't really do anything to solve those. They just kind of deal with them. And, you know, I don't have that much exposure to these problems, and they bug me the most, I think. And, I mean, here in Montana, we might as well be our own country, because things that happen on a national level, for the most part, don't affect us. I mean, they just don't. We don't see the repercussions of a lot of the things that Congress passes or anything like that. But then I hear about things like what I'm about to tell you. In Florida this past week, in a gated community, which we can assume is mostly white, I mean, that's just kind of how it is, a 17-year-old black kid named Trayvon was visiting some kind of relative of his that lived in that community, and he was watching the basketball all-star game. At halftime, he walks to the gas station and to get like some snacks. I think he got an Arizona iced tea and a thing of Skittles for his little brother. And when he was walking back, a white neighborhood watch leader, which, if you don't know what neighborhood watch is, it's just like, it's like a citizens brigade of like just nosy people that watch out for things that really, I mean, I don't even understand why neighborhood watch is a thing. What has a neighborhood watch ever like prevented that the police couldn't have handled? Well, anyway, this guy sees this 17-year-old black kid walking through his neighborhood. In his mind, there's no legit reason why this kid should be in his neighborhood. He calls 911, reports a suspicious person walking through his neighborhood. Then, I mean, as if that wasn't racist enough, then he confronts Trayvon. And, you know, the details of what transpired, nobody really knows except for those two. But it didn't seem like there was ever any, you know, action by Trayvon to attack this man. But this white neighborhood watch captain just shoots this kid right in the chest, kills him right there in the street. And that's that. So he just guns down a teenager. You know, regardless of skin color, you just killed a child in the street for no apparent reason. And that dude didn't even go to jail. That neighborhood watch guy did not go to jail. They just assumed, I don't even know. It's just, I can't even think about it because it's just so frustrating that that can happen here. I mean, that's like the exact kind of thing that should never, ever, ever happen. And whenever I think about it, it just makes me want to see that guy die. Like, I don't. There's no reason for that man to be a part of the human race anymore. Like, he's doing nothing but causing problems. I mean, he's shooting he shot a black kid, and he just murdered him. This kid wasn't doing anything. They searched his pockets. All he had was that iced tea and a bag of Skittles. And this dude just shoots him right in the chest. Boom, you're dead, life over. And I think that dude should just rot in jail, man. It's just disgusting that he didn't even get arrested. But anyway, back to Lego. Is that a panda? Is that a Lego panda? That thing looks terrible. Oh, I killed it. And I jumped on it. Where'd my broom? I had a broomstick. Where did that go? Okay, I see one more character in the top left there. Let's go try and find that. But I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, Kony is obviously a terrible person that needs to be stopped. But I mean, being a terrible person is being a terrible person. This white neighborhood watch captain, like, I don't think he's as terrible as Kony, but clearly he's a fucking terrible person. If you can just shoot someone based on skin color, I mean, that's obviously what happened. He reports a suspicious kid walking down the street. What makes him suspicious? He's just a fucking kid. Obviously, the only thing that triggered, like, the alarms in this crazy dude's head is the fact that he was black, and that's just really sad. And I feel really bad for that family, because that family is getting no justice at all. I found it. Just makes me wish that there was like some. I wish Dexter was like a real person. Like, I wish we had some serial killer that would just off people like that, so that the rest of us wouldn't have to deal with it. Parcel tongue. Blue, green, yellow, red. Blue, green, yellow, red. Fast magic is so clutch. Alright, are you not spraying? Still need water. Okay. Hopefully this episode isn't getting too long. It's getting pretty long. Kind of screws up my timing when I have to go back through the level. I kind of lose track of where I was. Oh, I can fly it? Oh no. Oh, I can fly. Last time I tried to do that, I jumped on the broomstick. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Hopefully this is the last area of this level, otherwise I'll have to make it a two-parter. Alright. Hopefully I got everything. House crest, check. Gregory Goyle. Tom Riddle. Back to the leaky cauldron. Well, alright, if you liked the video, feel free to leave a rating. If you want to see more from me, maybe think about subscribing. But that's it for that episode. I think it was, what was it called? It was like crazy hard to pronounce. Fiendfyre Frenzy. Thank you for watching. Maybe I'll see you next time. Later, dudes.